To start these last two projects that I'm going to do, the Radon Mitigation fan and the two air circulation fans, I needed to set up an electrical circuit for them, and I came out to my panel boxes, and not only were they hard to read, but they were very confusing because they took a generator and some of the old circuits that were in the old panel box they put into the new one. So we took a couple hours one afternoon and used the radio electric alarm clock, and you checked every outlet out, every light, every appliance, and we came up with these two prints for our panel boxes. This is the old panel box here, and this is the new Bryant panel box with the generator. You can see all the disconnected ones that were disconnected to go to the new generator box. And in order to cut down some of the confusion, all the disconnected ones I painted white on the tabs, and it makes it much easier to know what's what. And there was one open circuit here on this panel box, I guess for future use, and so I painted it white too. But we have identified every circuit in this house, and we made it easier to read with these two sheets here. We will laminate them and hang them on the side of the salt box here. So we eventually found a circuit that only had 4 outlets on and 1 light switch, and that was in our furnace room. The furnace has its own circuit, and so we used that circuit with a 20 amp breaker to use for our new units. This is a picture of my mow right by. You can see more about what that's about on my mowrightby.com website. This is a salt box for my salt bags, and you can see more about my softener salt system on my softenersaltdolly.com website. So this is what we're going to begin with, figuring out our electrical circuit, and we will start here. I wanted to have an on-off switch for both the circulating fans and the radon mitigation unit, and as I said, this circuit here had a light switch and 4 outlets, which 2 of these outlets were here and 2 here, and we very rarely used them, so we had plenty of capacity on this circuit. So I began by tapping into this outlet, bringing a power cord down off of here up through between the walls to here, and that power cord down again here and up to this switch. We had to measure from here over between the walls, and I took a wood drill up 1 1/4 inch and was able to feed my wires up right here, and had great ease in running the wiring the way I needed. Then after I connected the power lines, I brought my neutral wires up here and my ground wires and connected to here and here, and now this will control my 2 circulating fans, and this will control the radon unit. This radon unit is supposed to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year. So this circuit here, this switch, is strictly for maintenance on the radon unit. But it worked out real nice and good, and the furnace is on a different circuit itself, and everything worked out good. So that's how I started my electrical wiring. This is the junction box with the wires coming down from the power feed upstairs, and I split those off to 1 wire will go over here to where I'm going to put my fan to blow my circulating air around the house. That'll be job number 2. I put a new outlet in there. Another wire splits off that goes to my mitigation fan, and I always wanted a light back there, so I put a light and a outlet back there too. So this is the junction box, and everything went real good. This is the new light that I put in. Makes it much nicer to work down here since we've had light in this end of our crawl space. It also has an outlet into the base there, and but the wiring will come down around here and to my mitigation fan. And this is what I've done so far down here. I've laid out the area that I want to draw from, and this used to be an open drain just in case this flooded down here. They said I'd have to have a sump pump, and I didn't want to buy a sump pump because we're above ground level. This is about a 5-foot drop from here to our field tile, and the house is built kind of high. So I am going to plug this drain because this 80 acres of tiling out there was probably the biggest radon gas source there was coming up through here. So I wanted to seal this off. How I did it was take a piece of roofing rubber as a base, cut holes in it, and a slot so I can get it over the pipes. And I put this down first with those holes and slots in it. Then I put a workstation cushion pad that you use at workstations, and did the same thing. Put the slot on the opposite side and put it on. And then at the top here is 1/2-inch rubber from Tractor Supply, one of their rubber mats that I used in my mow right by. It's this piece of scrap, but it came out real good. I happened to wonder how to plug this, and I bought a hockey puck, and I got it on a 10-inch eye bolt, and you would just pull it out through the base with the eye bolt up here. If it ever floods, you'll pull it up and it will allow it to drain. Otherwise, that hockey puck will seal the rest of this drain here and should keep everything out. The flooring is this material here all over the stones, and then they put this 21 mil heavy plastic on top. So that's what this structure is here. Now I was afraid of stones coming sucked up. I don't know how powerful these fans are, so I put a grid in here, and hopefully that should keep any kind of debris from coming up through my fan. I've outlined where my base is going to sit on here. This is a drain, so I made it low here and high there, so I had to contour the frame so it would sit level this way and that way, and I believe I've got it pretty good shape. Now up here you'll see a little drill coming through the wall, and that is, there used to be an old furnace down here, and there's 2 exhaust ports that went through that wall there. I sealed them up, but I'm going to open them up, and that's where I'm going to exhaust my mitigation fan out through. I'll show you on the outside where they used to be. But I'm going to run 2 1.5-inch pipes to a manifold here, and then this will be all 3-inch pipe up and over to the manifold, and that manifold will force the air outside. So that's the progress we've made so far. I use this string here to find the center line of that hockey puck and run it off of a string down here, and I could find exactly where to drill my hole to put my eye bolt on my board construction. Now this little buggy has been a lifesaver. I've probably been hauling these frames up back and forth 6-7 times, if not more, and I just put the frame on here and just shove it and roll it over. I put a piece of 2x6 here because if you get down this end, it flips you and it knocks you on your butt. So this is another one of my ideas here, that when you go like that, it stops instead of flipping completely out from you. But if you're a pro working on crawl space all the time, I highly recommend some kind of a buggy like this to carry your material in. It really comes in handy. So that's where we are now, and you can see that how I formed these around these pipes here, the seal up around the pipes and everything. And this fan here is supposed to be, I checked out the electric usage and calculator they had. It'll cost 22 cents a day to operate this unit, and if I can get my radon gas in this house down below 4, which I'm hoping it does better than that, it's well worth 22 cents a day. I guess radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer there is. You always hear these stories about how, well, she had lung cancer, but she never smoked a day in her life. What's the story? Well, it's probably because of radon gas that she's been breathing her whole life. So, to make this house a healthier environment, we're going to go ahead and take the work and put a radon mitigation unit in and try to get rid of that dangerous situation in our home. This is some in-progress work. This is the base I'm going to put down. I've got a hole there for drain water to go through. I'm going to seal that up except for just maybe a ½ inch at the bottom to make sure it draws out of the gravel and underneath the sheet properly. Down here I've had to contour to my base. You'll see this is angled down, and right down there's where my drain is, so it is solid or straight across. And then come up here, I went to the profile of where it will go down and seat and sit so that it's level this way and level that way. This board, I leave it out so that I can put this over my pipes that's hanging down. This board here I take out and I can just slide it over the pipes, and then I put this back on, and this middle board will go right in here. This gives me access over my pipes again here and here. And then once this is all built, I'll seal this hole up here too with the pipes. This is where the mitigation fan will sit. I will take a rubber seal, put over that, and screw this down, and the mitigation fan will sit right in here. And that's how the base is built. The manifold, I'll have two 1.5 inch pipes come out here to the outside of the house. I've built this little system here that will just screw in here like into those holes, and the rubber around them will seal them up around the edges there. And that came out real good. I use 632 screws in here, and then I'll use 632 screws into here to mount it and pull it up against there. Same with this, where the 3-inch pipe will go in. I will put a rubber seal here, and then I will put over that rubber seal this unit, and this is where the 3-inch pipe will go into the manifold. I will take the front top cover and the bottom cover and put a bead of caulking right around the inside here and screw them down on there. Probably put a bead of caulking up in all the corners in here just to make sure it's airtight and everything. So that's the base, and that's the manifold, and we'll paint those with a couple coats of good oil-based enamel. It seems like that's a tougher paint and lasts longer, and we'll put a couple good coats of white paint on there to make it look nice downstairs. So that's the progress of the base and the manifold. This is the spot that I'm going to bring my exhaust out. Used to be two old pipes from the old furnace downstairs, and I did this to seal it up and make it look nice, but you can see in there that the drill that I used to make sure I was in the right place downstairs is there. And I will take these units here and glue them in, and I will force them in there with a couple screws to bring this up against the frame in there, and that should seal that frame real good. I have to do a little bit of widening on the holes here and making sure everything works right, but that's the game plan here on these two units here. And then I'm going to, for right now, just shoot out and then put a 30-degree angle on it, put some screening inside, and shoot out here. I may take two pipes up over to the bottom of my spouting, and that, I guess, radon gas is lighter than air and it will go up. A person told me if I put them out down here, they'll drift up and into my attic, which isn't real bad anyway. I don't plan on going up in the attic hardly ever again since I've completed it. So that's the game plan on the exhaust pipes. Well, we're complete and done with the building of the base and the manifold and the frame that supports the blower. The blower's almost perfect, 90 degrees to the floor, to the base. Put a level on top, but it's between the bubble everywhere, every which angle. I got a small hole here in case we do get ever water in the basement. I'd say that's 0.0000001% that would ever flood. But if it does, there's a drain hole there, and this eye bolt holds the hockey puck down on the 2-inch diameter, 3-inch hole it goes into, probably a 3 or 4 thousandths press fit around it, and then we force it down onto the next rubber piece, and that's only a 2-inch hole, so it sits down and covers that up. If it ever does flood, all we have to do is pivot the hole down out and raise the eye bolt up to this hanger here, and we'll hang it on there, and the drain's still functional, and no sump pump needed, and we got everything we want as far as the drain goes. These are a couple water drain lines. One's from the furnace condensation, and the other will, if we open it up, will allow all the water in the house to drain down and out into the field tile. The frame is just 2x6s anchored together, solid. We put another electric switch on this here, so if we were down here and wanted to turn it off, we could. We're going to turn it off right here too. It was easily wired. The base is on rubber grommets up against the frame, and it's just as solid as a rock there. Again, this is square. I brought my frame out about 1/4 of an inch, and you can see the angle there, but with the rubber connectors, which are real easy, it's going to work just fine. I've got rubber grommets, or rubber seals underneath here, and this anchored down to the base, connected there, and up to our manifold, and we use rubber spacers here, 2 60 thousandths thick spacers, and sealed it up real good, and we was going to go with 1.5-inch pipe out, but I measured things, and the square area of the 3-inch hole is 7.0. The square area of 2 of these pipes is 6.3, so it's still a little bit of a decrease, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything at all. But you can see where it goes out. I put foam around there, and that is the structure. So we are going to do the initial startup now, and you can experience what happens and the noise level. Here we go. Relatively quiet. We will never hear that upstairs. Kind of surprised that it was so quiet. I've heard people talk about the noise from these, but I'm real happy with our setup now, and we'll wait a few months, and then we'll take a radon reading down here. Yeah, I hope it's less than 4. I'm hoping it's less than 2. So there's the setup. Everything came out neat, and I'm kind of proud of it. These are the exhaust ports that the radon gas is being shoved out of, and there's actually more noise coming here than is from the fan that's pushing it out. I can feel the draft back about right here. I can feel it yet, and I'm hoping that as it shoves out here, it goes up and goes between the 2 windows. I was told that it's going to get up in my attic, but I've got extra holes to get the heat out below the roof, and the few times I'm going up there, that's the least of my concern. But I put screens in my exhaust ports here to keep the varmints out, and I don't have to worry about any kind of nesting going on inside, or getting inside. I'll straighten that up later. I think I'm pretty well completed with the job, and extremely happy with it. We've had this hanging in the garage here for about 7 weeks, and it's settled into a 0.4 reading, so we know our garage and work area is safe. I've heard the natural environment outside usually reads around 0.6, 0.7. So after we've got this reading, I'll take this meter down into the crawl space, and we'll check out how good my new radon fan mitigation unit is. Well, the radon meter's been down here about 2 months, and it read 0.4 in the garage. It used to read 37.5 here, but with the mitigation unit put in, we are now down to an extremely safe 0.9. And 4.0 is considered safe. 0.9 is probably as good as you'll ever see. So that's what we got. I feel this is a complete success, and very proud of it. We still have the access hole for the drain if we need to. We can get any possibility of water down here out the drain. And probably the biggest thing I learned from this is a gravity drain and no sump pump is as good as you can get. But if you're going into field tile with that gravity drain, be aware that there are some extremely high radon gases coming up. 37.5 is what this crawl space used to read. Dangerous level, way above the 4.0 that you should have. So we're very successful for 22 cents a day to operate this unit. Very quiet. I'm very happy with it. To cap off the radon mitigation unit, I put a planter box with a lid on it with 1-inch weather stripping around between the lid and the planter, and cut down on the noise a little bit more. And you can see here where the exhaust comes out and gives it a real nice finish. So everything went well, and that's the mitigation unit.